The location of Atlantis, hidden in plain sight? Going through and checking and examining Plato's dialogues, the Critias, and Timaeus, and further known history, we have finally found the location of Atlantis. It turns out that after it has always been right in front of our noses. Origins. The legend of Atlantis comes from the Egyptians, since they are believed to be descendants of Atlantis. On his travels to Egypt, Solon, in search of knowledge, took it all in, after which Plato and Herodotus also took inspiration from his documents 6 generations later. Here it is said that the firstborn of the 10 children of Poseidon, named Atlas, became the first king of Atlantis. If we look at history, there is a group of people, the Maori or Moors, nowadays called Berbers. The first king was called King Atlas. Atlas, the legendary king of the Maori people. They lived in an area in North Africa that used to be called Maori, but now Maghreb, what is today Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Western Sahara, and Mauritania. Let's dive deeper into Mauritania. The name of course comes from the Maori people. Herodotus, a Greek historian and known as the father of history, famously known for his documentation of the Greco-Persian Wars, and is worshipped by modern scientists and historians, also documented the story of Atlantis 75 years after Solon's death, and 2 years before Plato's births. He made the most accurate map of the then known world in his day in 450 BC, and at the bottom left, in North Africa we find a place called Atlantes, where in the area the Atlasmountains are also shown. What would have been the home of the Berbers, and whose mountains are of course named after Atlas. Also once a massive 500 kilometers or 1,640,420 foot river. Used to be floating trough of lands from east to west, which remains today we know as the Nile River, just as Plato also described. The Richat structure, or Eye of the Sahara. In the same area as the mountains we find the Richat structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. It has exactly the same number of rings, 2 from land and 3 from water. And is exactly as big as Plato described Atlantis, 77,089 feet or 23.5 kilometers. It also has an opening to the south that would connect Atlantis to the sea in the descriptions. It has mountains in the north that contain rivers. The sides of Atlantis are said to be heading towards the sea, and the Hardra Islands in these areas have a steep 1,500 feet or 457 meters of drop. The middle island of the structure contains pure water, just as Plato described it. This in addition to the fact that other sources and wells would contain salt water. Foundings and mysteries. Atlantis has been described with elephants, and in caves right next to the building we find cave drawings of elephants. Also relics such as pots, arrowheads, perfect red balls that can be cannonballs, as Atlantis was described as highly technological and militarily advanced. Only archaeologists do not know who and when these are, as these areas cannot be inhabited, as it is a whole desert sea without drinking water and food. Ancient whale skeletons and sea shells were also found here. The whales as skeletons, not fossils, which contradicts the claiming Atlantis sinking in the sea and there being a sea by tens of millions of years ago. When for skeletons to be fossilized takes only about 2 million years or even just a few thousand years, which means there was a sea in these areas not so long ago as they want to proclaim. Downfall of Atlantis. We have 2 options. Atlantis is sinking in the literal sea, and sinking in a metaphorical sea. The sinking in the literal sea may have happened because, as scientists explain, the natural structure has arisen, with the rising and falling of magma and lava. This can be seen in Plato's records as the earthquake that sank Atlantis into the sea. And as we have just reported, there was a sea in this area not so long ago. Sinking in a metaphorical sea can be seen as some kind of sandstorm. The Arabs always speak to this day about these areas, the sea without water, or the ocean of sand, what Greek historians could have misunderstood as literal seas. Also reports say that, in these areas when not having the modern-day preclusions and GPS locations, a sandstorm can easily swallow an entire city. Google Earth. Numerous of structure outline can be seen from Google Earth. Here you have a few examples. Nowadays, to this day the village in the mouth of the Richat structure, the village of Udon, are building their structures exactly the same way as Plato described it. Simple structures with red, white and black stones, sometimes arranging and burying them to be pleasing to the eye. Until this day, artifacts, like pottery, perfect spare balls, small and huge arrowheads, seashells, and much more are found in the Richat structure. Likelihood. So-called specialists and scientists still claim that Atlantis is just a myth and does not exist because there's no evidence and it's a too long time ago. Even while not really excavating the Richat structure, they have never been there and so can't possibly know. Also, they said the same about Troy and Anger. They said these are just fairy tales, but were eventually found, completely contradicting them. So why can't this be the same for Atlantis? This is the end of this video. Let us know what you think of all this by commenting down below, and if we missed some important facts, also make sure to let us know. Also, if you like these kinds of videos, make sure to like the video to let us know. And make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you will be notified immediately when we upload a new video.